Welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday, May 2nd. Happy May Day, happy May. Yesterday was May Day and Beltane, which is a very important holiday in the earth-based spiritualities. It's a celebration of fertility and life coming back in colder regions. So I hope that you will celebrate it in some way that's meaningful for you. The transit that we're currently in, I talked about in last week's transit report. And so you can go and watch that here if you want to see it. Right now, the sun is still in the gate 24 and the earth is still in the gate 44. And it is a very powerful configuration for us. So do go and watch that video if you want to find out more about it. The new transit starts on Wednesday, May 4th, and the sun is going to move into the gate 2, and the earth is going to move into the gate 1. And I want to talk a little bit about the overall chart before we dive into the specifics of the 2 and the 1, because if you take a look at this configuration, you'll see that 8 out of the 12 possibilities, okay, there's 12 different planets for where we have activations in any particular transit, and 8 out of them are in the knowing circuit, including the 2 and the 1. Okay, but if you take a look at this chart, I'll just tell you what they are. Okay, there's the 4323, right, which is where the nodes have been and they'll continue to be. Then the 20 that's coming off the throat, and also the 12 on the other side coming off of the throat. Then up through the central channel, the 60, the 2, and the 1. And the 2 actually has 2 activations because the sun is there and so is Uranus. So the 2 is extra powerful as we move into this transit. But what does all of that really mean for us? The knowing circuit is the largest subcircuit in the chart, so there are a lot of different gates that are a part of it. It's individual circuitry. It's here to be different. It's here to bring change. It's the evolutionary impulse that is running through humanity. And so we have a lot of that's coming up in this upcoming transit. And the main activations, which are the 2 and the 1, are both on the G center. So we've got a lot of intuition that is lighting up our heart center. The G center is the center for identity and direction, love and lovability. It's what we kind of think of as the heart chakra. According to human design, the heart chakra is split into 2, into the G center and the will center. But really the G center is the place that we usually think of as kind of the heart center because it is that place of love. So let's dive into what the 2 is all about. Located on the bottom of the G center, the 2 is known in traditional human design as the keeper of the keys, and in quantum human design as allowing. It is also the location of the magnetic monopole. So the magnetic monopole in the cosmology of human design is a magnet that only attracts, and it's located in that gate 2. And so it is a place that's very, very receptive. It is magnetic and it's attractive. I really think of this energy as our place where we are receiving all of the good that has come to us through that knowing circuit. So the knowing circuit's going to come down through the head and ajna and into the throat, and then it splits and goes out onto the 2 different sides of the body and then up through the central channel. And so we've had this energy which has come down and around, and then it's coming up through that central channel and it's coming into the G center. So all of the insights and breakthrough ideas, the epiphanies, the ahas, the new possibilities and potentials that come to us through the knowing circuit are going to be received into the hearts through the 2. And it's important for us to allow this to happen, which is why it's been renamed as allowing in quantum human design. But I really think of it as a energy for receptivity. It is also, as I was saying a moment ago, it's very magnetic, it's very attractive. And so when you think about things that are magnetic, right, they're receiving. And if you think about a magnet and what happens with iron filings to it, things come to it, right? I know I have a magnetic phone case, and every once in a while I'll pick it up and there's there's like a battery stuck on it, or there is a paper clip stuck on it, or something like that. Some kind of metal is stuck on it. So that magnet is receptive, right? And it's actually drawing things to it. So we have the sun lighting up that energy, and also Uranus. So Uranus is known as, kind of shocking, sudden changes, big energy that is unexpected, right? It's unpredictable. It's also highly intuitive. Many years ago, when I was pregnant with my child, so this was 21 years ago, I guess now, I had a reading with Caroline Casey, and she told me, she said, "Oh, you have Uranus on your midheaven. That means you are a professional intuitive, and there's no job description for that. So you'll have to go out and make it on your own." She was right. I am a professional intuitive. So that's kind of the energy of Uranus, is this very, very intuitive energy. And so we've got that combined with the sun, which is really the way that we shine our radiance and our brilliance out into the world. And then you can imagine it's lighting up the two, right? And so both of these, this intuition of Uranus, but also the knowing circuit in general is highly intuitive. The knowing circuit brings us a state of knowing. We don't necessarily know how we know. It's not something that we can prove. We didn't learn in a book. We didn't watch a video about it, nothing like that. We just know what we know. And so that's a very intuitive energy. And then on top of that, we've got Uranus, which is very intuitive. And then we've got the sun, which is that energy of magnetism already. And then we've got that also in the two. So this is a very, very potent transit for you to be attracting into your life the things that you really want, but you also have to be in a state of receptivity. So this is not a super, like, I'm going to go out and make it happen kind of an energy at all. It's much more of a, it's all going to come to me. It's all going to come to me. And so you want to be really clear about what it is that you want to come to you, right? Because if you're not clear about that, what'll happen is you'll attract the thing that you have the most emotional energy about. Unfortunately, that could be something you're afraid of, right? Or something you're anxious about, or something that you don't want to have happen. So you need to really watch your energy and make sure that you're calibrating it towards what you truly desire, so that you will bring that into your life during this really potent transit. Now, the one, which is on the other side of the G center from the two, and it's pointing upward towards the throat, is known as self-expression in traditional human design and purpose in quantum human design. I would not say that this is the only place where you have purpose in your chart. There's many, many different parts of your chart that can point to purpose for you. I really think of this as the way that you are expressing your knowingness, your intuition, because those are the qualities of the individual circuitry and of the knowing circuit, and you're expressing that out through your heart. So this is heart energy, it's love energy, and it's very connected to your sense of who you are, connected to your sense of identity. And I think that Karen Curry Parker, who is the creator of quantum human design, may have renamed this energy as purpose, because the G center is that place of identity, and it's also the place of direction in our lives. Okay, so if you think about this for a moment, if you're having energy that's coming up through the heart, it's coming through this deep intuitive circuitry, and you're going to be expressing it, right? It's self-expression, that as you do that, you're expressing your identity, you're expressing your direction in life. And so that could easily feel like purpose for you. So you want to be able to ground yourself in your heart when you're coming this week, okay? Because both the sun and the earth are in the heart. So you want to be able to ground yourself in that sense of, who am I? What is my direction in life? What do I love? What do I care about? What am I here to express? What is most vital to me to be able to create and to express out into the world? Many people come to me for a human design reading because they want to know more about their purpose. The thing about purpose is that, in my view, and in my personal experience, as well as what I've witnessed and talked to many people about, is that purpose is something that often unfolds in your life. If you're somebody who's in your 20s, for example, you may already have a sense of purpose in your life, but you also might just be in a place where you're, individuating away from your parents, you're coming out of your family, you're learning more about how to be out into the world, you're starting to have your own friendship circles that are not necessarily connected to schooling, for example, and you're looking for a livelihood. You're creating a career maybe, or you have a job, or maybe you're still in school. And so your purpose is really all about that for this period of time. Then often when we're in our 30s, you're looking more for how do I stabilize what my career might be. You've gone through your first Saturn return. You may have hooked up with somebody and have a primary love relationship. You might even be having kids at this point. And so your purpose is often about those kind of key life cycle aspects of your life. And it's not a lot of times until you're a little bit older and you look back and you go, oh yeah, I had all of these different pieces of purpose that start to add up for you. But what the best suggestion I can say is do the next thing that you feel is calling you. Feel what is happening in your heart and where your heart is directing you, where the sense of identity that you have right now is directing you. And you're going to have so much support to tap into that and really feel it during this particular transit, because that one is it's a grounded energy. So you can kind of ground yourself in that, and then trust that your purpose is alive in you already, that it's unfolding in you, and that your mind does not have to understand it. It doesn't have to be something that, if somebody were to ask you, yeah, tell me, what's your life purpose? You could give them a sentence about that, right? I mean, I realize now looking back at my life, I'm in my sixth decade, and I realize that my life has always been about consciousness. And that was true through my academic career, where I was really interested in consciousness, but I didn't call it that back then. I called it something else completely different. And my PhD isn't in consciousness. It's in literatures and English with an emphasis in African American studies and women's studies. But my sense of purpose was there in that I was really wanting to open up our consciousness, in that case, to be able to bring more people who had been more marginalized or subordinated, right, into the center of how we think about who we are in the United States. That was my purpose that I was doing at that time. But now I look at it over the last 25 years that I've been teaching and working with clients and so on, that, I've been working with sovereignty and developing the work in feminine sovereignty. That's something that evolved over time. Like when I was, younger, looking forward into my life, I didn't see it. And yet what I did do is I followed the impulses that were directing me from the inside. I followed the things that helped me feel like myself, like I was being true to myself. And I left the academy because I started to feel that I wasn't being true to myself, that my identity was not able to express itself, even though for a while it had. But then I did what I was there to do, and then I was done. And then I moved on. Right? So I would just say, depending on, what your age is, and I'm aware that younger and younger people are watching my YouTube videos. So I just want to say to you to really tune into your heart, tune into those impulses that you have. And depending on what your type is and your strategy and your authority, that's also ways that you can get that sense of purpose that's going to be working for you. And when you can ground yourself in that self-expression, that sense of purpose, that sense of your identity and your direction in life being able to express itself in whatever form is appropriate for you at this time, that will enable you to then magnetize and attract more of the things that you want in your life, because it's going to create ground for your sun to be able to shine. Let me just note here that we also have the gate 12 and the gate 20, which are on the throat. They're also defined. The 12 is the channel, 20 is patience. And so what's happening on the throat is always important. And so you may be receiving like really empowered downloads that are coming through that gate 12. And then the 20 is also always cautioning patience. It's always saying, pay attention to right timing. Don't jump into things too soon. Make sure you're prepared before you dive into something. Make sure that you've prepared yourself. Make sure that other people are ready for what it is that you want to be sharing. So all of those are also going to be influencing what we're experiencing during this week. I also want to remind you that tomorrow, May 3rd, is the last last day that you can receive $200 off my Activate Your Superpowers group coaching program, and also receive a bonus of a 30-minute reading with me. So this is a 11 class training, all in the introducing you to the fundamentals of human design, and it will give you the grounding that you need to really kind of understand the system. I know I see people having bits and pieces a lot of times, and then they kind of get confused. And so part of the reason that I created that program was I wanted to be able to be very kind of systematic. This is my my generator part, right? Being very methodical and going through and teaching you, the core components of human design. This is not like a specialist training. The videos are, half an hour long, right? So that's about that. And you have a worksheet every week. Also, to provide you with the coaching that you need so that you can get your questions answered, because you always have questions. But not only that, also to help you to make this really real in your life, because there are things that you're not going to see, honestly, even when you get the whole picture of the system. You're not going to see how it applies to your life, because this is a very transformative, revolutionary system that will challenge you in a variety of ways. It'll disrupt your normal way of being. If you're used to being really left-brained, it's going to throw that into its right relationship with other forms of intuition that you have. And so it's through the coaching that you really get to make real human design in your life. You really get to live your design. So I open this up in a group coaching program once a year, and tomorrow is the last day when you can get this with the bonuses, which is $200 off, which will bring the price down from $697 to $497, or there are 4 payments of $147. And to get that half-hour reading with me. I'm going to leave the cart open for another bit after tomorrow, but you're not going to have that $200 off, and you're not going to get the reading. So if you're thinking about doing this, if you think you'd like to work with me, if you're feeling like human design is a system that can really support you as you are growing and evolving through your life, I encourage you to join me. I would love to have the opportunity to actually see you face to face and to support you to create more of what you want in your life, to feel on purpose, to know that your life has meaning, to make the contribution that you came here to make, to up-level your relationships so that you don't take things so personally and the people in your lives don't take things so personally. You can really see how each of your energies works and how they intersect. That has been a huge bonus for me and for many of my clients, for you to break out of some things that you thought were character flaws, and you can turn them into strengths for yourself. I did that with my open throat, for example. I did it with my gate 51 and my gate 39. I did it with my open emotional solar plexus, and it's the kind of thing that I help people with all the time, because we often think that there's something wrong with us because we don't understand how our energy is working, and our culture doesn't teach us anything about that, and human design really does. Okay, so tomorrow's the last day. The URL is here, and it'll be down in the description, and I hope that I will see you and activate your superpowers. Many blessings. Much love.